Molo Sanbonani, hello, how's it? Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Tuesday here on Vuka Nazo, your morning news analysis show. Remember, if you love the show, do me a solid favor. Your only price of admission is to hit that like button. Yes, that's right, hit that like button whether you're watching this simulcast on Facebook or on YouTube. Now, if you're watching on YouTube in particular, you can do me an even bigger favor and subscribe to the channel. Help me reach my goal of 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And you can do that, of course, by subscribing to the Big Daddy Liberty channel on YouTube. Guys, we also have a website. Find us at bigdaddyliberty.com. There, of course, you can pledge some financial support, especially if you like the liberty advocacy work that we do. We are wholly dependent on you pledging a bit of support, 100 Rand a month towards the show. A payment method that suits you is on the website, bigdaddyliberty.com. With that being said, enough of the jibber jabber. Let's get straight into the news. Okay, we begin here this morning. You would expect, dear viewer, that an 80-year-old has-been politician, indeed has been president of the Republic of South Africa, a one Jacob Zuma, would be enjoying his blissful last years on this planet, especially after a stressful job of being a president of the Republic like ours. You'd expect that dude to be sitting blissfully in Nkandla, enjoying the sight of his chickens running in that taxpayer-funded chicken run, and indeed tending to his cattle, moseying around the yard, enjoying grass. That's what you'd expect someone who is a retiree to be doing, especially if that same retiree, of course, is gravely sick. Remember, after the courts, or rather after the Correctional Services Department had released him on medical parole, the courts then finding that decision to be unlawful, you'd expect that same guy to lie low and take the time off. Not Jacob Zuma. No, not him. Not in the deluded world of Jacob Zuma. Let's talk about that deluded world of Jacob Zuma, where this individual who we were told is gravely ill was seen over the weekend prancing around and indeed running for office once again. This time, the office of the regional or provincial chairperson of SANCO, the South African National Civic Organization, which of course is an ally of the ANC. He was running for its chairperson and indeed won that election. Have a look at this video. Yeah, yeah, that's right. You saw it for yourself. Again, the ANC and its alliance partners, especially here in KZN, have simply not learnt the lesson of their association with a toxic brand like Jacob Zuma. After the nosebleed and drubbing that the formal ANC structure of KZN received at the last elective conference, where the rest of the ANC just literally said stuff off to the KZN delegation and including its Zuma allies and Zuma himself, ANC alliance partners, including SANCO in this instance, are still doing this weird brown-nosing, this praise and worship of has-been politicians like Jacob Zuma. And it's coming back to haunt them. But nonetheless, let me tell you why this particular election of Jacob Zuma as chairperson of KZN SANCO is bogus. That's right, bogus. With the actual formal structure of SANCO in KZN coming out and saying this election is illegal. The article, of course, is in EWN, which writes the story this way. Now, of course, as I mentioned, this happened over the weekend and into the weekend, where the 80-year-old Zuma was elected as chairperson of the civic organization in what was called a conference of SANCO in Durban. Now, a grouping purporting to be the real South African civic organization in KwaZulu-Natal said that the recent provincial conference in which former President Jacob Zuma was elected as chair was, quote, illegitimate and a circus. This group, of course, disputed the validity of Friday's gathering, saying it was organized by a group of delinquents that were suspended and expelled from SANCO. The organization said that Sizwe Cele was the rightful SANCO provincial secretary, with Lawrence Dube as chairperson, and that both were elected at the 2021 conference. End of quote. Of course, you can imagine the clown world shenanigans around this will continue, and they'll probably find themselves in court at some stage. But for me, this is the takeaway. There's a lot to be said about the incredibly deluded world that Jacob Zuma lives in, where he projects this idea that he's still relevant to the South African public. And indeed, a lot of you believe that he's still relevant to the South African public, even when the data is telling you the opposite. The ANC in KZN is taking a severe drubbing and will likely, very likely, it's almost guaranteed, lose KwaZulu-Natal in this upcoming 2024 national and provincial election. And why? Because the data is already showing us this. If you take the combined votes from the last election we had, which was the, of course, local government elections, the ANC only mustered 41% of votes across KZN. If you were to combine, of course, the cumulative local government votes and give it a provincial overall picture. That tells you, and the ANC sees that writing on the wall, that the popa sal dance, as we say in Afrikaans. Now, as to why ANC structures, whether they are expelled or rightful structures, I'm not really interested in the SANCO fight, why they're still brown-nosing Jacob Zuma, only time will tell. But what KZN voters and KZN residents will be telling the ANC, including their precious Jacob Zuma very soon, is that they and Zuma can hit the road and piss off. All right, I take you now from one political leech by way of Jacob Zuma to another political leech by way of Julius Malema, the leader, of course, of the red in tooth and claw communist party, the EFF, or the Economic Freedom Fighters. Those douchebags basically threatening, as he has, that on the 20th of March, Malema tells us, he will launch or unleash what he calls the mother of all protests. And of course, a national shutdown in this country. And true to form, Julius Malema will do this outside of the rule of law, outside of the law, threatening, of course, to do this in an illegal way, not having to do this in a legal manner, he says. Why? Because it's his constitutional right to break the law in protest, as Malema says. Well, this is exactly what he had to say about this.
National shutdown 20 March. We don't apply for nothing. We can't apply for that which is given to us by the Constitution. It is our constitutional right to protest, and we shall protest on the 20th of March.
Yeah, that's right. You heard it from the horse's mouth himself, basically saying, to hell with the rule of law. They'll do this protest in a legal manner, indeed even threatening directly truckers, especially those who, as he calls, are ferrying coal to other countries in Richards Bay, warning them that if they know what's good for them, that they'll shut their trucks off and park them on the day. This, again, is true to form. When it suits them, the EFF will employ the law, especially if it involves them getting salaries from the states. Because remember, these people are paid by us as taxpayers. They don't fight that. They don't argue against that part of the law. No, of course not, because it benefits them. But as soon as they want something for themselves which harms the rest of us as society, even if the stated goal is a noble one, which is end load shedding, or that Cyril Ramaphosa is a useless president, I agree with those two things. But the means by which they're going to do this is going to harm everybody else in society and not the very people who they claim this is meant to harm. Eskom won't be affected by this. Ramaphosa won't be affected by this national shutdown and the disruptions and the breakdown in the rule of law. This is why I've always said, hashtag politicians are trash, because it's exactly what they are. And you see it in moments like these, where they don't act in the interests of you or me, they act in their self-interest. The attention media whores that they are, whether it's Ubehicele, who loves the limelight, or Julius Malema, or even Ramaphosa, they are attention media whores who act in their interests, not in yours or mine, as the faith, flag, family, and freedom type South African. But nonetheless, this thing of protesting against load shedding, we saw it last week with the DA, we saw it the week previous with the EFF also protesting this issue. And of course, a week ago, civil rights group, hashtag not in my name, also took to the streets protesting against load shedding. Let me read from this independent online piece, which basically reminded us about the protest as so. Now, a week ago, civil rights group Not In My Name hashtag marched to the Union building in Pretoria, demanding an end to the indefinite load shedding and the approved electricity price hike. Speaking to IOL during the march, the Not In My Name president, Siyabulela Gentile, said President Ramaphosa had been found wanting during the ongoing crisis. End of quote. Now, please understand me, people here. I'm not against or unhappy at the fact that people are unhappy and are against load shedding. Of course, all of us are frustrated by that. In fact, those of you who are fans of my show have seen on 2 occasions already where mid-broadcast either an electricity outage, not necessarily load shedding, but the intermittent electricity supply in this country and the decaying supply of electricity has affected this show. It's affected your life. However, what I'm cautioning you against is being dribbled by political actors who are using these moments for their self-aggrandizing and not to address an issue you and I are facing. Do not be dribbled by this and take massive precautions on the 20th of March when the EFF then do unleash themselves onto the streets of South Africa, because the EFF, as you'll see in tomorrow's Vuka Nazo, are not to be trusted on any issue. Hashtag politicians are trash. All right, that's it for this episode of Vuka Nazo, people. Let me know what you think, please, in the comment section. And remember, do me a solid favor, please. Share the stream. Share it. The moment you've watched it, all you need to do is hit that like button, of course, and share the stream. It really does help. And if you love how we begin your news day here on the show, please make sure you visit our friends at the Daily Friend. That's right, dailyfriend.co.za. They come to you Mondays to Thursdays live at 1:30 p.m. where they help you finish off and end your news day. Guys, thanks again for watching. A big reminder once again, hit that like button, share the stream, and of course, visit us on our website at bigdaddyliberty.com. With that being said, enjoy your day. I'll see you tomorrow for another episode of Vuka Nazo.